So today we're going to look at some benchmarks comparing an AMD RX 9060 XT versus an Nvidia RTX 3060. But instead of gaming benchmarks, this time we're going to look at various AI and machine learning applications including LLMs, object detection, and stable diffusion. Now, when it comes to AI hardware, we can think of the industry today as a race where Nvidia managed to get a huge head start. But competitors such as AMD haven't given up and are making some big strides. In fact, AMD has been marketing RDNA 4 as having vastly improved AI performance thanks to its new Matrix cores, which are designed to compete with Nvidia's Tensor cores. So it'll be interesting to see if AMD's latest budget card can compete with Nvidia's budget king from 2 generations ago, which might not seem like a fair fight at first, but again, AMD has been playing catch up for the past couple of years, so hopefully the 9060 XT can at least match the performance of the 3060. But before we get into the results, let's spend a minute comparing the two cards on paper and also discuss pricing. Now, the reason why the 3060 has been considered such a great value for AI is because it's an entry-level card that boasts 12GB of VRAM, which is a big deal because this is when Nvidia started skimping on VRAM on most of its cards. For example, the 3070 Ti should have come with 16 gigs instead of 8, and the 3080 should have had 20GB instead of only 10. And even though VRAM improved a little bit with the more recent generations, prices have also skyrocketed as well. So even though the 3060 is over 4 years old now, it's still considered a good budget option as you can find them for around $200 used. But if you want more VRAM from Nvidia, then the next best deal is the RTX 5060 Ti 16GB, which retails for around $430 for the cheapest models, which means it's more than double the price of the 3060 but only has 33% more VRAM, which means the 3060 still makes sense for budget users. But the 9060 XT 16GB currently retails for $350, making it the most affordable 16GB card right now. So on paper, the 9060 XT actually seems pretty appealing as a budget AI card. But of course, this all depends on whether AMD has been able to improve performance for these applications. So that's what we'll be finding out today. Now let's quickly go through the test system specs. This is a custom-built PC running a Ryzen 5900X on an ASRock X570 motherboard with 64 gigs of DDR4 3200 RAM. Both cards were tested in fresh installations of ComfyUI, which is currently the #1 most popular Linux distro. Also, I used ROCm 6.4 for these tests, but it's important to note that ROCm version 7 was just released a few days ago. However, at the moment, PyTorch hasn't been updated to support that yet, so I'm planning to repeat these tests in several months after they update to support ROCm 7, which should boost performance for AMD. Alright, so let's start off by looking at LLM performance using Llama.cpp. If you want to learn how to run Llama.cpp, then check out one of my previous videos where I showed an easy-to-follow guide on how to do this. Now, the model that was tested is based on Llama 3.1 with 8 billion parameters. This is a popular model with relatively low memory requirements, so it can easily fit on a 12GB card. And one last thing, both cards were tested using the Vulkan backend, but the Nvidia card was also tested with CUDA, which is the result in the middle. But anyway, as you can see, the results are surprisingly close, but the 9060 XT actually was able to take the lead with a score of 26,522 tokens per second. The RTX 3060 running with CUDA scored 25,295, which makes it about 5% slower. And when running with Vulkan, the 3060 fell even more behind with a score of 23,675. Which means the CUDA version is about 7% faster. However, like I explained in my previous video, Vulkan is easier to get set up and running, so it isn't completely irrelevant for Nvidia cards. Now let's move on to the next application, which is object detection using Ultralytics and YOLO 11. I also want to mention that I made a playlist for an open source smart security camera that I wrote in Python, which also supports YOLO Object Detection. Everything is processed locally on the GPU instead of on the cloud. So if you're concerned about privacy and want complete control over your security cameras, definitely check out that playlist which is linked in the video description. Alright, so on to the results. These were obtained by using the Ultralytics benchmark using the command you see here. Also, this benchmark runs multiple backends in addition to the standard PyTorch version. For example, YOLO can be compiled with TensorRT, which takes advantage of Nvidia's tensor cores and provides a huge boost in performance with very little impact on accuracy, so I decided to include those results as well. Unfortunately, it appears none of these backends currently supports AMD's matrix cores. As you can see, the AMD card landed in last place here with an inference time of 34.17 milliseconds. Lower is better here, so the RTX 3060 came out ahead with an inference time of 31.4, but that was using the PyTorch backend. Using TensorRT, the Nvidia GPU completely destroyed the other results with an inference time of only 4.51 milliseconds. So in other words, spending the extra effort to compile the TensorRT model can deliver much better performance if your application demands it. And chances are I'll be doing this with some of the projects I have planned in future videos, so stay tuned for that. Now let's move on to Stable Diffusion running in ComfyUI. These results were interesting since I tested two different models which provided very different results. Starting with the SD 3.5 large turbo model, we find the 9060 XT has a massive win here, with a score of 3.38 iterations per second, which is more than double the score of the 3060. This is quite impressive. However, this lead vanishes when looking at the next model, which is Flux 1 Dev. Now here, the results were given as seconds per iteration, so in other words, lower is better here. In this case, we find the Nvidia GPU just barely beat the AMD card with a score of 3.88 seconds versus 4.08 seconds. Now, I'm not sure why Flux performs so differently than the SD 3.5 model, but I'm guessing it might have something to do with the data types that are used. For the Flux model, you can see the floating point 16 data type was used, but for the SD 3.5 model, floating point 8 was used instead. So for one reason or another, the AMD GPU is showing a massive performance gain in FP16, but not for FP8. I'm guessing there might be a software limitation that's preventing the AMD card from fully utilizing its matrix cores that I talked about earlier. But I don't know for sure, and to be honest, I haven't spent a lot of time tinkering with Stable Diffusion, so if anyone has any insight into this, then feel free to drop a comment and let us know. Alright, so that's it for the benchmarks. I know this wasn't a lot, but it still gives some insight into AI performance with RDNA 4 GPUs. AMD's AI software stack, including ROCm, is a lot better these days, but it's still not perfect and not on the same level as Nvidia. At the end of the day, it really depends what you're trying to do. For example, when it comes to running LLMs on a budget, then AMD support and performance is good enough that it's definitely viable. But for other use cases, you might be better off spending the extra money on Nvidia for the best compatibility and by far the best performance, especially with their latest 5000 series. Even though today's comparison might not seem fair since I compared a brand new AMD GPU to an Nvidia card that's already 2 generations old now, I think it's a fair comparison given the circumstances. Like I mentioned in the intro, when comparing these AI hardware companies, we can think of it as a race. Nvidia had a massive head start, but over the past few years, AMD has actually managed to run at a similar pace as Nvidia, which means Nvidia won't be able to lap AMD. So even though Nvidia still has a clear lead, AMD and other companies are still in the race. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the following years. And like I said, ROCm 7 was just released, so I'm planning to repeat some of the tests again once more applications are optimized for it. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm planning to do more custom AI projects, so it should be a lot of fun, and a great learning opportunity if you want to learn programming in addition to electronics, robotics, and engineering. So stay tuned for that. As always, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.